Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Lord. As chair, I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York State Urban Development Corporation, doing business as Empire State Development, for this Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. We have a bunch of staff members participating remotely, so I'll ask you all to keep your audio on mute until you're ready to speak. And I'll note that the public was given the opportunity to attend today's meeting to provide comments on the agenda items. We do have some members of the public in attendance today, and if they want to speak, we will accommodate them. In addition, the public was given an opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting their written comments by noon yesterday. We received 22 comments, and they addressed agenda item 2A related to the Kingsborough Psychiatric Center mixed-use project. And the comments were all distributed to the directors and have been posted online at the ESD website page. As always, the directors received all the written materials in advance of today's meeting, and of course are free to ask questions at any time during the presentations. At this time, I will ask the directors, well, before I get there, let's go around the room and then we'll get to that because I want to recognize a quorum here first. So I'll ask the board members first to introduce themselves.
Hope Knight, President, CEO, ESD.
Hilda Rosario Escher, Director.
Francine Del Monte, Director.
Benson Martin, designee DFS.
Lorraine Harris, Board Member.
Rob Simpson, Director.
John Long, Director.
All right, John, well, great. We have a full house, and I'll certainly recognize a quorum. And then starting with Kevin, can the staff around the table introduce themselves, please?
Good morning, Kevin Eunice, COO.
Noah Raymond, Chief of Staff.
Jason Clark, Division of Minority and Women Business Development.
Arden Sacco, EVP Real Estate.
Liz Luskin, EVP Small Business and Technology Development.
Joy Huang, Director of Real Estate and Planning.
Ethan Sander, Project Associate, Real Estate Development Planning.
Angel Santana, VP for Community Relations, Real Estate.
Joe Taswell, New York City Regional Director.
Tony D'Alessio, Controller, Deputy CFO.
Orlando, Chief Financial Officer.
Goldie Wexel, Deputy General Counsel.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much, everybody. We got staff around the room as well, so thank you, staff. So I will continue. I will now ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on the agenda, and if we can make that appropriate disclosure. Benson?
Yes, DFS will recuse itself from the New York Ventures Emerging and Regional Partners Program Fund Investment and the Community Development Financial Institutions Assistant Program, CDFI.
Got it. We'll note that again when we get to the agenda items. Rob?
Yes, there is an item for Center State CEO on here, which we'll recuse ourselves for, and also the Syracuse Housing Strategies Corporation. So 2 items.
Great. And again, we'll do that again when we get to those items. We'll note those conflicts for the record. And that is it with some preliminaries. We do not have minutes available yet from the March meeting. We'll approve them at the June meeting. Is that the March meeting or the April meeting? We don't have them for it. The March meeting. Got it. So we'll approve them at the June meeting. So we'll get right to the agenda. Our first item on the agenda is the Kingsborough Psychiatric Center mixed-use project. We have Joy Wong, Director of Real Estate Development and Planning, who's going to make the presentation.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. My name is Joy Huang, and I am the Director of ESD's Director of Real Estate Development and Planning. Today, we are asking the directors for certain approvals and authorizations related to the proposed Kingsborough Psychiatric Center mixed-use project, which, for the purposes of this presentation, I will simply refer to as Kingsborough. Your materials provide a list of requested approvals and authorizations for the project, and I will restate them at the conclusion of this presentation. The materials, including the proposed modified general project plan, also contain the full details of the project, which I will provide you a summary with, starting with a brief background. In collaboration with the New York State Homes and Community Renewal, or HCR, ESD is sponsoring the Kingsborough project as part of the state's Vital Brooklyn initiative under a General Project Plan, or GPP, that ESD's directors initially adopted on October 19, 2023. The proposed project envisions the comprehensive redevelopment of a 7.2-acre project site located at the westernmost portion of the comprehensive redevelopment at the western portion of the Kingsborough Psychiatric Center campus in Brooklyn's East Flatbush neighborhood. The campus is owned by the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, or DASNY, and is operated by the New York State Office of Mental Health, or OMH. The portion of the campus to the east of the project site includes numerous institutional buildings and facilities that are actively used and maintained by OMH to provide psychiatric care to people with serious mental illness. But the project site itself is comprised of 5 substandard and underutilized buildings built in the 1930s that no longer serve the essential needs of OMH. 2 buildings are currently used as single adult men's homeless shelters that are under the jurisdiction of the New York City Department of Homeless Services, and 3 others that are substantially vacant. The project provides a unique opportunity to make the surplus state-owned properties available for other uses that will better serve the needs of the community while avoiding the carrying costs and potential liabilities to the state associated with holding the title to depreciating and obsolete facilities. The project is anticipated to create approximately 3,700 construction jobs and, when fully completed, 389 permanent jobs. In July of 2021, ESD selected a conditionally designated development team for the project through a competitive request for proposals, or RFP. The development team consists of Douglaston Development LLC, Breaking Ground Housing Development Fund Corporation, Almat Urban LLC, Andrew Velez Construction Inc., Job Development Corporation, and the Brooklyn Borough of Community Service. To address the substandard and underutilized conditions of the project site and to redevelop it in accordance with the goals and objectives of the Vital Brooklyn Initiative, ESD will acquire portions of the project site over time from DASNY and reconvey the title to the developer in property dispositions that will be scheduled to coincide with the construction loan closings for each of the 3 project phases. As part of the property dispositions to the developer, the City of New York will extinguish its reversionary interest in the project site in consideration of the developer's replacement of the 2 existing shelter facilities on the project site. Pursuant to special legislation that is cited in the materials provided and was enacted to support the project, the commissioners of OMH and HCR, in recognition of the state's interest in facilitating affordable housing and other project goals and objectives, have agreed to title the projects that the title to the project site will be conveyed to the developer for nominal consideration. When all 3 phases of the project are completed, the project site will be a mixed-use complex with affordable and supportive residential housing, 2 new homeless shelters to replace the 2 outmoded ones on the project site, and other uses including a community facility, grocery store, and publicly accessible open space, which will serve residents on the project site and the surrounding community. Specifically, the project will provide up to approximately 1,033,039 square feet of residential space, including up to 1,081 new units of affordable housing, of which approximately 9% will be home ownership units. It will also provide 2 new state-of-the-art single adult men's homeless shelters, which would fully replace the existing 364 beds currently available on the project site. Approximately 8,092 square feet of commercial space, which is anticipated to be utilized as a grocery store. Approximately 63,071 square feet of community facility space, including an 1199 SEIU workforce development and childcare facility, an emergency food provider, a ballet studio, and a social service space. It would also have approximately 46 on-site parking spaces, 4 publicly accessible privately owned driveways, and 2.16 acres of open space, which includes programming for both passive and active recreational uses. All of the approximately 1,081 residential units developed as part of the project will be income restricted, with all of units affordable to households earning between 40 and 80% of the area median income, or AMI. Of those 1,081 residential units, approximately 773 general affordable housing units will be provided, of which approximately 337 units would be set aside for senior citizens earning up to 50% of AMI. A list of improvements that are anticipated to be constructed in each project phase and the timeframes anticipated for each project are provided in the project phases chart annexed to the GPP as Exhibit B. The first phase of the project, which would include construction of the 2 replacement homeless shelters, supportive and general affordable housing, a community facility space, is anticipated to start at the end of this year and be completed in 2028, with full occupancy in 2029. Under the projected schedule, work on the second phase would start in 2029 and be completed in 2032, with full occupancy in 2033. Work on the third and final phase would start in 2031 and be completed in 2034, with full occupancy anticipated to occur during that same year. A list of improvements that are anticipated to be constructed in each project phase is provided again in the project chart phases annexed to the GPP as Exhibit B. To effectuate the project, ESD will override local zoning to allow for the development of more affordable housing than would be permissible under current zoning, and other components that are consistent with the project goals. ESD is creating design guidelines for the project to be applied in lieu of zoning. The NYC Department of City Planning has reviewed and provided comments to ESD during ESD's drafting of the documents. We have also received comments from the City Planning Commission, or CPC, detailing support for the project, along with suggestions such as more extensive stormwater capture systems and other details. The developers have reviewed both DCP and CPC suggestions, implementing changes where possible, and provided explanations as to the practical limitations where designs could not be changed. Among these were changes made to open space, creating more passive design features, clear wayfinding, walking paths, and revisions to overall bulk and massing to align with recommendations for better building articulation and transition. ESD is the lead agency for the project under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, known as SEQRA. On October 19, 2023, the directors authorized acceptance of the Draft Environmental Impact Statement, or DEIS, for the proposed project, adopted the initial GPP together with land use improvement and residential project findings, and authorized ESD to hold a public hearing on the DEIS under SEQRA and on GPP under the UDC Act. ESD received oral and written comments on the DEIS and adopted the GPP during a public hearing held by ESD on November 30th, 2023, and through the public comment period that ended on January 8th, 2024. A transcript of the public hearing and copies of all written comments received are included in Appendix J of the Final Environmental Impact Statement, or FEIS, that was issued on March 2025. The directors accepted the FEIS on March 27, 2025, and the FEIS was posted on ESD's project web page, and the document was publicly noticed and made publicly available for consideration as required by the SEQRA regulations. ESD's responses to all substantive oral and written comments on the DEIS and adopted GPP are set forth in Chapter 27 of the FEIS. Upon consideration of the comments made at the public hearing and over the course of the public comment period, as well as numerous engagement sessions with elected officials and community organizations, the GPP has been modified to reflect changes in programming that better align with community needs and interests. The proposed modifications to the GPP are as follows. First, the housing program. The project will see an increase of 9 multi-bedroom units to accommodate more units for low and moderate income families, for a total of 436 affordable housing units. There will also be a net reduction of 18 supportive housing units. Combined, these changes reflect an overall decrease in residential units from 1,090 units to 1,081 units. For driveways and parking, publicly accessible There will be publicly accessible on-site parking that will increase to 46 total spaces from 15. Enhanced site access and circulation will be realized through the construction of 4 new publicly accessible driveways. Open space programming will also include a community garden in addition to other garden features. A designated storage space of approximately 660 square feet will be allotted for steel pan drum equipment within the community facility space. Together, these proposed project changes will better serve the needs of the local community and project residents. SECRA requires the adoption of written findings supported by a statement of relevant facts and conclusions considered prior to agency decisions on actions that have been a subject of the FEIS. The SECRA findings statement attached to your materials contains the facts and conclusions disclosed in the FEIS. It weighs and balances relevant environmental impacts with social, economic, and other considerations that form the basis for ESD's project-related actions. In summary, the redevelopment of this underutilized property as a new mixed-use, health-focused community providing much-needed, affordable, and supportive housing and jobs will generate long-term economic benefits for the surrounding community, the city, and the state. And for the reasons stated in the materials and that I have summarized in this presentation, we are now asking the directors to adopt SECRA findings, to affirm project findings under Section 10 of the UDC Act, to affirm the general project plan as modified, to authorize the transactions related to the acquisition, disposition, and development of all phases and subphases of the project site and the implementation of the project, and to authorize all related actions. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Right. Very well done, Joy. Very thorough, and I followed you all along the way, and I do have a couple of questions for you. But very good job. Just first on the legal transaction. So DASNY owns it now.
Correct.
Then they're going to convey it to us, ESD, and then we're going to convey it to the developer. Is that going to be a fee simple, or is it going to be a ground lease from ESD to them?
I believe there'll be a fee simple.
Fee simple.
disposition.
Thank you. And multiple state agencies involved.
Correct.
So yeah, DASNY, ESD, and HCR. Is HCR's primary role in providing tax credits and grants?
We'll be financing
And they'll do the financing.
affordable housing portions of the project.
Very good, thank you. And then on the SECRA, did we have environmental consultants and environmental attorneys assisting us on this process?
Yes, we had both.
Have our outside counsel and our outside environmental consultants, convey to us that they believe we've complied with every aspect and all of our obligations under the SECRA requirements?
Yes, absolutely. Went through a very iterative process with all parties involved.
Terrific, thank you. And then some folks from the community were sending me emails regarding they did not believe there was enough public outreach or that we did not comply with open meetings law. Is it you, or is there someone else here who could describe to us board members the type of public outreach we did to the community and to the elected officials, and somebody who could comment on our compliance with the open meetings law?
Yeah.
Angel?
Yeah.
Just introduce yourself.
Angel Santana, VP for Community Relations at ESD.
Angel, can you speak up a little?
Oh, can you? Angel Santana, VP for Community Relations at Empire State Development. Yes, there was extensive community outreach. We've worked over the last 2 years, actually. We've engaged with Community Board 9, went to numerous housing committee meetings, land use committee meetings, prior to every step of the SECRA process, prior to the DEIS being issued, prior to our public hearing. We held a public hearing. In addition, the local assembly member put together 3 town halls, which we participated, 2 on this particular project, and another town hall on a number of Vital Brooklyn projects, to which this is a part of. And in addition, most recently, we went to the land use committee meeting for Community Board 9 to provide an update on the project prior to this meeting as well.
Terrific, thank you. And who wants to comment on our compliance with the open meeting?
Comment on that. Yeah, we've complied with, and as we've discussed, all aspects of open meetings law, in many respects gone beyond in terms of our notice requirements. We've noticed the meeting well in advance of what the open meetings law requires, provided materials in advance of what the open meetings law requires, and invite people to participate, which is actually something that we do voluntarily.
Great, glad to hear that. Before I open the meeting up to the public, do any other board members have any other comments or questions for Joy or Goldie or Angel? Okay, hearing none. As I mentioned earlier, we received 22 comments, that have been distributed to all the board members. I think there are a couple of members of the public who would like to speak on this matter. Angel, I'll hand it over to you to handle that aspect of the meeting.
Yes. So we do have three individuals here who are seeking to provide comment. I'm going to call them up in this order. The first person, it's three, Reverend Neal, Reverend Moore, and Olga Job.
And before they speak, I'm going to remind all our speakers, like all state agencies, we request speakers to adhere closely to a 3-minute time limit. And the timer will ring at 30 seconds remaining, and then again at the 3-minute mark. So if you could, the first speaker come up and then state your name for the record and keep it to 3 minutes, we'd appreciate it.
My name is Reverend Neal, the pastor of the Bedford Central Church in Brooklyn, New York, Crown Heights. And I've been there for 37 years. And as a leader in East Brooklyn Churches, one of our great organizing groups that has about several thousand members. And we have 30 very small and dynamic organizations as part of it. I'm here to recognize the outstanding work of our great developer, Breaking Ground. And they have a strong track record as a non-profit developer and a service provider in our community, and we trust them. They have proven themselves over and over again, and we have seen their work in Edwin Place and the service they provide in Redwood Hood and one of our senior buildings here in Brooklyn. And they have a strong record of being trusted by our community. They provide services that we recognize, and we want to let you know that we feel very strongly about the quality of work they're going to do in our community. And so as a leader in Brooklyn, one who have watched their work, we want here to endorse them and want to stand with them as they can provide services for us in our community. Our community is in need of this work, and we look forward to working with you to make their work a reality in our community. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Rashad Moore, and I serve as the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Crown Heights in Brooklyn. And I want to echo what Reverend Neal stated in reference to the background of Breaking Ground. One of the concerns from the community was about the rebuilding of the shelters that are already existing. And I just wanted to reiterate that Breaking Ground has been doing successful work in Brooklyn and throughout New York City around transitional housing for decades. And we wanted to clarify to the community once again that in this new project there isn't an increase in shelter beds, but they're replacing the 2 rundown buildings that are already there with modern facilities, the same number of beds, but better buildings and professional management. With this new plan, there will be 24/7 security with staff lobbies around the clock, security cameras throughout, which is a massive upgrade from what's there now. Thirdly, we are committed with Breaking Ground to helping to support building a community advisory board with neighbors, elected officials, and the 71st precinct. Right now, we have a 7-acre, I want to say wasteland, with 2 crumbling shelters. And the Kingsborough project transforms that into over 1,000 affordable homes. The community's first real park, a grocery store, a daycare, job training, and so much more that we need. Breaking Ground has the experience. They have the track record. They know how to do this right. And so as a community partner, we stand with them in this project. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Reverend. Angel, do we have other speakers?
Hi, yes, sorry.
everyone look so serious. I too am upset that the Knicks lost last night. Good morning. My name is Olga Job, and I'm a principal of Job Development, a company that was started by my father 30 years ago in July of 1995. I'm very proud to be part of this development team. We will be the developers of the affordable homeownership component. It is extremely rare in New York City to have an opportunity to build on a site that provides the full continuum of housing, meaning from shelters to affordable homeownership for seniors, to affordable rentals for seniors, and affordable homeownership for working families in New York City, in particular working families that look like me. Joy stole a little bit of my thunder about some of the concessions that the development team has made in the various community board and community meetings, of which I also attended and can attest to the fact that they occurred and were quite heated at times. But two other things I want to point out, in addition to what Reverend Neal had said, was that we also added EV charging stations, which I think is an important component as we look at the overall environmental and sustainability nature of the project, as well as implementing a traffic monitoring plan. That was also one of the concerns that the community had with adding additional units to that site. This is a site that really is a game changer in this community, and I really appreciate being a part of the development team and hope that you all will support this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Angel?
So that's our last speaker for today.
That's our last speaker. All right. Well, thank you all for speaking. As I said, we've deliberated. We've heard from staff recommendations. We've received written comments. We just heard some public comments. Considering all that, based on the presentation that Joy shared with us, I will move it. Hilda seconds it. Are there any other comments or questions on the motion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you very much. We're going to continue now with our regular agenda, and I'm going to hand it over to Hope Knight, our President and CEO, to provide her President's report.
Thank you, Kevin, and good morning, directors. Earlier this month, Governor Hochul and the legislature reached an agreement on a $254 billion state budget. It contains several economic development initiatives that will help us build upon our momentum. For example, it extends the Excelsior Jobs Program to 2034 and creating an enhanced tier for semiconductor supply chain businesses. It includes an additional $100 million for Fast New York and $300 million for Power Up, which will help increase power capacity at shovel-ready sites. The budget also included funding for a new round of the Regional Council Initiative, which launched on Monday. This year, a new competition called Achieve will invite the councils to submit proposals for transformational projects that will anchor economic growth in their region. It also included a $400 million investment in downtown Albany, which we celebrated with the governor yesterday at an event in Albany. These are just a sample of the exciting initiatives and investments included in this year's impactful state budget. I want to thank everybody at ESD for their hard work on the budget, but especially our policy team led by Allison Kabir, along with Emma Wallach and Elizabeth Morrissey. Lots of nights and weekends for them. Since our last meeting, we celebrated another truly transformational project in upstate New York. Central New York-based Chobani will expand its operations into the Mohawk Valley with a $1.2 billion investment. The project at Rome's Griffiths Business and Technology Park will employ over 1,000 people. And at full capacity, this facility will process more than 12 million pounds of milk per day, a huge opportunity for our dairy farmers. The facility will be built on a shovel-ready site that was supported through the Fast New York program, offering proof that our economic development programs and strategies are generated significant dividends. This was a huge win for New York State, for the Mohawk Valley, and for our agriculture and dairy industries. Special thanks to Allison Stark, Jeff Januszewski from our Strategic Business Division, and the Mohawk Valley Regional Office team for their hard work. And lastly, I'd like to welcome Michelle Clark as our new Vice President and Director of Workforce Development. Michelle will oversee the efforts of both GoSemi and our Office of Strategic Workforce Development. She joined ESD in March and comes to us from the New York City's Department of Small Business Services, where she was an Assistant Commissioner of Training. As folks join us, we have the unfortunate task of saying goodbye to two people who have made significant contributions to our organization. The first is Maria Mitchell. She was Senior Vice President of Life Sciences and Strategic Partnerships. We say goodbye to Maria and wish her well as Felisa Kaiser, who was our Director of Compliance. And that concludes my presence report.
Well, thank you, Hope. I've had the pleasure of working with both Felicia and Maria over the years, and they did a terrific job here, and so they will be missed. So wish them well. Hope, could you just explain a little bit more about the new Achieve program and how that changes how the REDCs have been doing things for the last 14 years?
Yes, so we're looking at a competitive process this year where the regions will really look towards their strategic plan and try to present projects that they'll be able to get more than the funding that they usually get for, a single project. They'll look at a theme, and they're actually able to work with each other if they find something that they can work together on as a project. And these projects will be put forth to a scoring committee, and we'll look at 3 regions to win up to $50 million for a project.
Oh, so there's like a new $150 million available, and 3 regions to win up to 50?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. And is that on top of the historical? The governor has usually put like $650 million in the budget for REDCs.
There is funding for the capital. Right.
So the REDCs will still be approving other smaller projects.
That's right.
With the agency monies, and then this is a new program with new money that they'll compete for.
They'll compete for the funding, and then we will also not have a rolling process, because we had gone through a rolling process the last couple of years, and we will not have that.
Will not?
Yes.
Or we will or will not?
We will not. When is the first?
So it's going to be like a deadline?
Deadline.
I don't.
Like roughly in the fall?
July-ish for the first submission.
Okay.
Got it. And are there procedures that are being promulgated that we have to approve, or are all the procedures already established for the program?
We have put out our guidelines for this, and we'll share them with you and the board.
Good. No, I know next up we're approving procedures for a new program. I was just wondering if you'd be approving procedures for that too. But no, you guys just issued guidelines.
Yes, guidelines.
Got it. All right, great. Does anybody else have any questions for Hope? All right. Well, Hope, thank you very much. We will continue with the agenda, and we have Deneen Lena, our Director of REDC Programs and Incentives for a new Pro-Housing Supply Fund program. Are you with us here in person or on the phone?
I'm on the phone.
Okay. Floor is yours.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm requesting the directors to authorize the adoption of program guidelines for the implementation and administration of the Pro Housing Supply Funds program, which was included in the 2025-2026 New York State budget. This is a statewide program with up to $100 million in capital funding that will be made available to support infrastructure investments, enabling the development of housing projects consisting of 20 or more units within pro-housing communities. projects will be eligible to receive up to 50% of the eligible total project cost for the infrastructure improvements, with a minimum award of $2.5 million and a maximum award of $10 million. The final 20% of the grant award will be withheld until the commencement of the new housing project. And then the program guidelines will be included in the 2025 RADC initiative, and an application will be made available through the consolidated funding application. We'll take any questions.
Thank you, Janine. So this is relevant to my last question. So now we're approving guidelines for this new pro-housing supply fund, but we're not approving guidelines for the new Achieve program. So when do we approve? When do we not approve? So.
So in this case, the RADCs is much more broad, and so we generally just do that through the CFA process and through the RTC Council. We don't always approve guidelines, but this is a very discrete grant program, so we're very limited in the funding for this, the funding opportunities for this program.
Got it. So the Achieve is just part of the normal RADC process, and this is a new specific. Right. Got it. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Janine on these guidelines for the new housing? And when will that start? Will this start right away?
It's available now, or will be, I think, as soon as we approve it.
Yeah. All right. So I will move it. Francine seconds it. Anybody have any other comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you. Okay. We're going to move on to the regional projects approval. We're going to start in the Finger Lakes, and we have two items, two separate votes. And Laura Fox O'Sullivan, our regional director for the Finger Lakes region.
Good morning, directors. First, we're asking the directors to approve a $266,000 capital grant to Connected Communities, Inc. for a $1.7 million project from the Regional Council Capital Fund, Round 11. Connected Communities is a not-for-profit organization with a mission to break the cycle of poverty through community development, revitalization, and empowerment. The grant supports a portion of the cost of real estate acquisition and renovation of over 20,000 square feet of space at two different locations in the distressed Beechwood and Emma neighborhoods in the city of Rochester to create a neighborhood hub for meetings, classes, and co-working amongst the community. Are there any questions about this project?
Anybody have any questions? Here are none. I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Laura, continue.
Thank you. Next, we're asking the directors to approve a $1 million capital grant to the City of Batavia for the $2.4 million Upgrade City Center project. Funding was awarded through Round 2 of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative to revitalize the 13-acre Batavia City Center, which is a hub for local government, businesses, and recreation in the heart of the downtown. The award was used towards a portion of the cost to construct and renovate the existing city center concourse, including entrance renovations and roof upgrades to 150,000 square feet of commercial space, making the site more appealing to existing businesses, developers, and potential tenants. Are there any questions for this project?
Nope, do not see that. So I will move it. Lorraine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, I should have said for both of those projects that we did not receive any comments from the public on either of those items. So we'll move over to Central New York. Two items, two separate votes. Melissa Davis, Deputy Director for the Central New York region.
Good morning, Chairman and Directors. Today you're being asked to approve a Regional Council Capital Fund grant of $942 $500 to be used for a portion of the cost of new construction at 4668 Waterhouse Road, Clay, New York, in Onondaga County. The new construction of a single-story 8,470 square foot addition expands the 12,160 square foot apprenticeship training center, doubling training capacity and improving facilities. The total project is expected to be approximately $6,333,878 with 16% contributed by the company's equity. ESD's participation is 15% of the total project. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from Melissa? Hearing none, we don't have any comments from the public on this, so I will move it. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Melissa, continue.
I believe OSWD is going to present on this one. On the next one, the CNY, WCNY Entertainment Academy Working Capital.
So let's move to the.
Am I incorrect on that one? That's what I was told.
Skip this.
Yeah, skip this for the moment.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. We're gonna punt that. The next one, we're gonna punt that. So thank you.
Sorry.
Nope, all good. We'll move over to the North Country region. We have two items, two separate votes. Stephen Hunt, our regional director.
Good morning. As you said, we're presenting two projects. First, we're seeking board approval of a $2.5 million downtown revitalization initiative grant to Pendragon Inc. to be used for a portion of the cost of a $6.583 million acquisition, construction, and renovation project. The not-for-profit organization's Phase 1 project includes the purchase and renovation of a vacant building envelope in downtown Saranac Lake that will allow the grantee to complete a new theater in a future Phase 2 project. The future Phase 2 project, it would be a fit-out and completion of the theater and has a cumulative project cost of $12 million. That project will include a $2 million Restore New York grant and a $500,000 Market New York grant to be presented to ESD directors for approval at a later time. So now ESD is requesting board authorization for the release of funds for this Phase 1 project.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Any questions? All right, we don't have any comments from the public. I will move it. Rob seconds it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Steve, continue.
Okay, next we're seeking board approval of a $3,974,000 upstate revitalization initiative grant to the Development Authority of the North Country for the cost of operating expenses to support the implementation of the Next Move New York program. With the support of this grant, the Development Authority of the North Country will establish the administrative framework and implement the goals of Next Move New York in helping fill the North Country and upstate New York's workforce needs. This is a program that was created through the Challenges competition in 2023 and is helping create the most robust transitioning soldier and spouse retention to workforce pipeline in the country. The project is underway, and ESD is now requesting board authorization of the release of funds for this project.
Thank you. Any questions on this one? No, we don't have any comments from the public. So I will move it. Mike seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Moving over to the Mohawk Valley region, Derek Crossman, Deputy Director for the Mohawk Valley region.
Good morning. We're asking the directors to approve a $600,000 capital grant for ELG Utica Alloys Holding Corporation's expansion project in Herkimer from round 12. ELG's expansion includes the acquisition and renovation of a 145,000 square foot vacant building adjacent to its Herkimer location, allowing for the consolidation of facilities from two locations to one single site to meet the rising demand, as well as ELG's goals of improving operational efficiency and facility safety. Additionally, ELG was awarded up to $400,000 in Excelsior tax credits as this expansion project allowed ELG to retain 82 existing employees and create 10 new jobs. The total project cost is $8,534,172, with ELG contributing over $7 million of its own equity. I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Derek? None. No comments from the public. So I will move it. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Derek. Moving over to the Capital Region. Michael Yeverly, our Regional Director.
Good morning, Chair. This morning I'm asking the directors approve a $1,750,000 DRI grant to the Catskill Mountain Foundation for a portion of the cost associated with the renovation and purchase of new equipment at the Orpheum Performing Arts Center located in the village of Tannersville in Greene County. The total project cost is expected to be $4.2 million. The proposed project covered under the DRI grant includes equipment upgrades to the current theater, construction of a new 2-floor addition to the dance studios, and streetscape beautification, resulting in better accessibility improvements, new outdoor community space, all of which is in keeping with the DRI vision to revitalize neighborhoods and increase community engagement. The organization has now completed the first phase of the project, expending approximately $1.3 million to complete equipment upgrades to the existing theater. Because the required obligations have been met to allow for the first disbursement of funds under the contract, ESD is now recommending that the board approve the total grant of $1.75 for the project for future disbursements expected upon completion of the second and third phase of the project. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, anybody have any questions for Mike on this one? There are none. We have no comments from the public on it. So I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Let's move over to the southern tier. We got Omar Sanders, our regional director. 3 items.
Good morning.
Separate votes.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, directors. 3 projects that we presented today will receive funding through the Upstate Revitalization Initiative. We're asking the director to approve a $20 million award for the Flex Tech Alliance Phase 2 Capital and Working Capital Project. This award will assist the Binghamton University Research Foundation in matching a second round of federal funding to support the second phase of assisting in the research and development of flexible hybrid electronic devices. One of the major goals of Phase 2 is to transfer research from lab to market and expand the advanced manufacturing workforce in the Southern Tier region. The total project cost is $45 million. Empire State Development will support both operating and equipment expenses associated with the project. I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
So, hey, Omar, with the URI, you know, those regions got $500 million. Yeah.
That's correct.
After this $20 million, I see we have another one left. Do they have much money left over, or are we getting closer to the end?
My region, we have some funds left over, but we're working on some initiatives that we're looking to utilize those funds this year as well as next year.
All right, great. Good luck.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Omar on this one? All right, we don't have any comments from the public either. So I will move it. Francine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Omar, continue.
Thank you. Next, we are asking the director to approve a $50 million capital and working capital grant for the Battery New York initiative that aims to create a national hub for battery innovation, increasing the Southern Tier's exposure as a leader in advanced battery technology and assist companies by lowering risk for entering the industry with support and training. The grant will support building renovations, acquisition and installation of a battery cell prototype manufacturing line, and related working capital costs. Working capital will be used for advanced battery commercial application research and development, as well as workforce and supply chain development. The total project cost is $122,226,484. ESD will contribute $3.3 million to the renovation. The balance of the $46.7 million will be dispersed semi-annually over a 10-year period to support the project. The anticipated completion date is December 2031. And I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Thank you, Omar. Any questions? All right. No comments from the public. I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Last one.
Lastly, directors will be asked to approve the release of funds for the Corning Museum of Glass Studio Next campaign expansion project that consists of a 42,000 square foot make-your-own glass facility in which museum visitors get to create their own glass work using the studio's facilities. The total project cost is $42.5 million. To support this facility expansion, ESD provided assistance in the amount of $9 million from the Market New York program and the Upstate Revitalization Initiative. Corning Museum of Glass contributed $12.8 million in equity toward this project. The project is complete, and the museum has satisfied the disbursement requirements to receive funding. And I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Omar, what is it? Is this like a Build-A-Bear store in the mall?
Only with glass.
With glass?
Yes.
Yeah, very
Something
good.
like that.
Very good. Anybody have any questions? All right. No comments from the public. I will move it. Lorraine seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Omar.
Thank you.
We'll head over to the Mid-Hudson. We got 2 items, 2 separate votes, and we got Linda Malavi, our regional director.
Good morning, directors. The directors are requested to approve a $2 million Fast New York grant, Track C, funding program for the town of East Fishkill in Dutchess County. This infrastructure project will support water expansion at the former East Fishkill IBM site, also known as iPark 84 in Dutchess County, enabling future business expansion. This project will allow for the creation of shovel-ready sites for the manufacturing park development of an additional 125 acres. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Linda? No. No comments from the public. So I will move it. Rob seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Next, Linda.
The directors are requested to approve a $300,013 Empire State Entertainment Diversity Job Training Development Fund grant, its working capital, for SUNY Orange located in Orange County. SUNY Orange and Choice Films have collaborated on a training program that steers diverse individuals towards employment in the film or TV industry. Scale Up Orange combines SUNY Orange's traditional classroom experience with Choice Films' hands-on training. This partnership will focus on Choice Films' on-the-job training while leveraging SUNY Orange's academic and workforce development expertise. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. Is SUNY Orange a community college?
Yes, that's correct.
Got it. All right. Any other questions for Linda? All right. We have no comments from the public on this, so I will move it. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Okay, so we're going to move over to the New York City region. We have Joe Taswell here, and he has 4 items. And we're going to need 4 separate votes. Joe?
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. The next 3 New York City projects, if approved, will be funded from the ESD's Regional Council Capital Fund. The first request is for the approval of a $500,000 grant to Emerald Isle Immigration Center, a nonprofit organization that supports newly arrived immigrants by providing critical services such as legal consultation, citizenship education, adult literacy, and employment assistance. The grant will be used in connection with the $3.07 million cost to retrofit an existing building in the Woodlawn section of the Bronx that was acquired by Emerald Isle in 2016. The organization will renovate the first and second story floors, add a third story to the building, and install ADA compliant elevator and bathrooms. This project was completed in February. I'm happy to take any questions for that.
Any questions for Joe? All right, no comments from the public. So we'll move it. Mike seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Next, Joe.
The second request is for approval of a $600,000 grant to SUNY Maritime College, which is located on the Throgsneck Peninsula in the Bronx at the site of the former Fort Schuyler. SUNY Maritime educates students for global marine transportation industry, shipping, engineering, and related areas. The grant will be used in connection with a $7.8 million cost to construct and equip a new 2-story, 5,300 square foot building that will be called the William Austin Marine Education and Seamanship Center. The facility will house the college's marine biology and marine transportation programs and will include marine environmental science wet lab and space to support seamanship training for students, as well as professional and civil mariners, including training for members of the New York City Police and Fire Departments. The project was completed in January. Happy to take questions for that.
Any questions for Joe? All right, none. No comments from the public. So I will move it. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Last item, Joe.
Great. The third request is for the approval of a $1.5 million grant to the New York Immigration Coalition, which is a nonprofit policy and advocacy organization that represents over 200 immigrant and refugee rights groups across New York State. The organization also provides legal, employment, educational resources, language access, and health services to the immigrant community. The grant will be used in connection with the $8.2 million cost to acquire the entire 6th floor in a building located at 131 West 33rd Street, which will allow the organization to both consolidate and expand its office space in that building. The new space will reduce the organization's high leasing costs while increasing its capacity to promote immigration inclusion through its expanded services and greater efficiency. The project was completed in February. Happy to take any questions.
Good to see all these projects getting completed. So, no, I don't see any questions. We have no comments from the public. So I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Joe. And then we've got Ray Salaberios, and he has another item from the New York City region.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, directors. The Wheelchair Accessibility Fund will allocate $5 million from the Metropolitan Economic Revitalization Fund to a CDFI, in this case, the Disability Opportunity Fund, to finance the purchase of wheelchair accessible taxi vehicles by owners of taxi cab medallions issued by the New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission. The program's goal is to increase the number of wheelchair accessible taxis while supporting medallion owners with affordable financing options. The program will allow New York State to partner with the TLC, the Disability Opportunity Fund, and the New York Taxi Worker Alliance to create a pilot program to make it easier for small business medallion owners to buy a wheelchair accessible taxi through the pilot program. Medallion owners with only one taxi can apply for a special loan directly from DOF, along with a grant from the TLC's Taxi Improvement Fund for the purchase of a wheelchair accessible taxi cab when their current vehicle is retired from service. The pilot program is expected to assist up to 70 medallion owners. I'll take any questions that the board may have right now.
Yeah, right. Are we talking about new taxis that are, or these are existing taxis that can be converted to wheelchair accessibility?
These would be new Toyota Sienna taxis.
Good, very good. And these will be loans?
These will be loans to the individual medallion owner.
Got it. And are these state funds or federal funds?
The Metropolitan Economic Revitalization Fund is state funds.
State funds. Got it. Thank you. Any other questions for Ray? Hearing none. So I will move it. Francine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. We'll go to Long Island. Carol Longworth, our regional director for the Long Island region. Carol, are you there or are you on mute?
Can you hear me, Kevin?
Yeah, now we can.
Hello?
Yeah, now we can
Okay,
hear
sorry
you.
about that. I guess we need some broadband on Long Island. So I'm sorry. Good morning. The directors are asking the directors to approve a regional council capital grant of up to $300,000 to Fifth Avenue Chocolatier, doing business as Chocolate Works, to pay for a portion of its purchase of equipment and machinery to expand its chocolate manufacturing plant located in Freeport, Nassau County. The company has expended over, $3 million on this project and created 94 jobs.
The company also received a $600,000 Excelsior Tax Credit Award for this project. This was a round 11 priority project for the Regional Council as it supports the expansion of the region's manufacturing base and creates jobs. The project is complete. The company exceeded its job creation commitment by 29 jobs, and we request the approval to disperse the grant.
All right, thank you, Kara. Anybody have any questions? We don't have any comments from the public. So I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. The item that we skipped over before, was that in
That was in Central New York.
Finger Lakes or Central?
Central New York, and it
Oh.
was the,
The WCNY Entertainment
yes,
Academy?
Academy Working Capital.
All right, and who do we have? Lisa Bailey?
Patricia
Patricia Bailey. Are you on the phone, Patricia?
She's actually just dialing in now, so maybe come back to this for the next item.
Okay. So we're gonna punt this the second time. It may have to go at the very end now. So, all right, give me the high sign. Let's move over to the Market New York Grant Program. We have Ross Levi, Executive Director, VP for Tourism. Ross?
Good morning, Chairman Law. Thank you. The New York State Division of Tourism is asking the directors to approve 5 Round 14 working capital and 2 capital Market New York grants. The grantees for all 7 projects have met the required match for their awards, which is a minimum of 50% for working capital grants and 80% for capital grants. First, the working capital grants. The first project is a working capital grant of $350,000 to Sail 250 New York, Inc., now known as Sail 4th, a New York City event commemorating America's 250th birthday with the world's largest ever flotilla of tall ships and naval vessels sailing into New York Harbor on July 4th, 2026. The funds will market the week-long series of Sail 4th events to bring visitors from around the world to this once-in-a-lifetime event, showcasing New York City's rich maritime heritage and global significance. Happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions from Ross on that? We're doing one vote for all of these, right?
Yes.
Oh, my apologies. I'll continue.
Yeah, so, continue. Sail Forth. Okay, March 4th.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I shall. The second project is $310,000 grant to the Margaret Woodbury Strong Museum, known to the public as the Strong National Museum of Play. This Finger Lakes-based attraction will use the marketing grant to launch an all-inclusive Canadian marketing initiative, Play Strong, with the goal of maximizing tourism from the Toronto and Golden Horseshoe regions to this Rochester Museum and the surrounding Finger Lakes region. The next project is a $500,000 grant to Gravity Productions, LLC, to produce and market the inaugural music festival at the Evergreen Festival grounds. Promoting 4 events over 2 separate summer and fall weekends, the festival will feature packages that bundle event tickets with hotel and travel, bringing up to 40,000 people to enjoy Tannersville, Greene County, and the overall capital region. The next project is a $500,000 grant to the Natural History Museum of the Adirondacks, better known as the Wild Center. The Wild Center is a North Country region-based attraction in Tupper Lake that will use marketing funds to develop and implement Turning 20, Trails, Trolls, and Tourism, a 2-year project of special events, programs, publicity, and promotion celebrating the Wild Center's 20th anniversary with fun, informative, and interactive outdoor activities. Our last working capital project is a $500,000 grant to the Olana Partnership, a capital district organization that will develop and implement a large-scale integrated branding and marketing campaign for Frederick Church 200, the bicentennial of the birth of the Hudson River School founder and creator of Olana. This national campaign aims to attract thousands of visitors to revitalize downtowns in Greene and Columbia counties. Our first of 2 capital projects is $1,400,000 awarded to the Olana Partnership for the construction of a 4,700 square foot visitor arrival and orientation facility at Alana State Historic Site, which opened on October 25th, 2024. The facility includes a ticketing lobby, orientation displays, cafe, restrooms, and terraces connected to historic carriage roads. This project aims to enhance both new and repeat visitation, supports 238 jobs, and boosts the regional economic impact to around 14 million. Our final project is for a capital grant of $908,742 to the Manhattan Theater Club, which supported a two-phase renovation of the Samuel J. Friedman Theater, a Broadway theater and New York City landmark, which plays a key role in New York City's economic and culture. The completed renovations ensured that the theater could continue to operate safely and effectively, and also reduce the theater's energy usage by 8.8% and energy expenses by 16.7% annually. That completes my projects. Happy to answer any questions on any of those.
Great. Thank you, Ross. They all sound like neat projects that'll increase tourism throughout the state. So thank you. Does anybody have any questions from Ross? For Ross? No? We don't have any comments from the public on any of these items. So I will move them. Lorraine seconds them. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None? The motion carries. Thank you. We'll move over to Restore New York Communities Capital Grants. We have Simone Bethune, and she has a couple of items to present to us.
Thank you, Chairman Law. I have 3 Restore New York projects. The first is a Round 7, $2.6 million project to the City of Troy in the Capital Region. The city will oversee the demolition and reconstruction of a vacant single-story former bank to create a 55,000 square foot market rate multifamily residence with 70 micro studio and 1-bedroom apartments, including a co-working space. The developer and beneficiary, Troy 1818 LLC, will contribute approximately $5.3 million in equity to the $22 million project, which is expected to be complete in 2026. The second item is a $1,250,000 Round 6 grant to the city of Oswego in the central New York region. The city will oversee renovations to the vacant and deteriorated 18,000 square foot Market House built in 1836 to create a mixed-use development with 8 market rate apartments and commercial space containing a craft brewery, restaurant, and small event center. The project commenced in March 2024 and is now complete. Project cost totaled approximately $9.4 million, with the developer contributing $2.3 million in equity to the project. And the third item is a $1.9 million Round 7 grant to the County of Essex in the North Country region for demolition, environmental remediation, and reconstruction of 5 sites at the county-owned 67.8-acre Frontier Town Amusement Park to prepare the site for commercial use. The project is scheduled for completion in June 2025 at a total project cost of approximately $2.1 million, with the county ensuring contribution of $280,000 approximately in equity. And I can take any questions.
Thank you, Simone. Anybody have any question for Simone on these 3 items? Don't see any. We have no comments from the public. So I will move this. Rob seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Simone, you have some at the direction of projects for us?
Yes. Just reminding everyone that the at the direction grants originate from the governor, the New York Assembly, or the Senate, and ESD is named to administer the funding but does not select recipients of funding.
Good. Simone, just first, this is Rob is going to be recusing himself on this, and also I see Stony Brook matter on here, so I'm going to recuse myself from voting on this as well.
Okay. The first item we're requesting director's approval of is a $500,000 transformative investment program appropriation from fiscal year 24-25 made at the direction of the Executive Chamber to the Niagara Military Affairs Council, the last federal U.S. Air Force base in the state of New York and the largest federal facility in the region. Funding will be applied through February 2025 to a portion of new missions, education, advocacy events, and administrative costs related to the station. For the second item, we're seeking director's approval of a $550,000 local assistance award to the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation at the direction of New York State Assemblyman Carl Hastie of the 83rd District from fiscal year 23-24 of the New York State budget. Funding provided under this grant will support administrative and operational expenses of the Bronx Overall Organization's economic development and tourism programs. Funding was applied to these objectives through December 2024. For the third item, we're requesting director's authorization of a fiscal year 23-24 $1 million local assistance award made available to the Research Foundation for SUNY Stony Brook University at the direction also of New York State Assemblyman Carl Hastie of the 83rd District. Funding provided under this grant will support continuing activities related to maintaining National Cancer Institute designation for the Stony Brook Cancer Center, which has established constantly evolving guidelines that must be met in order for the center to seek renewal of existing status. Funding will be applied to the center's activities through June 2025. For the fourth item, we're asking directors to approve a $10 million local assistance fiscal year 24-25 special capital appropriation grant made at the direction of Assemblywoman Amanda Septimo of the 84th District. Food Direct is a 1944 established third-generation family-owned business situated in the Hunts Point Cooperative Market in the Bronx, and Food Direct will complete comprehensive upgrades to its food distribution facility located at the Hunts Point Market. Project activities began in April 2024 and are expected to be complete by the end of 2027. For the fifth item, we're requesting director's authorization of a fiscal year 2021-2022 $5 million New York Works Economic Development Fund award made available at the direction of the Executive Chamber to Syracuse Housing Strategies Corporation. The organization will use funds for grants made to individual property owners to stimulate property improvement, renovations, and construction throughout 4 targeted neighborhoods: Salt Springs, Tip Hill, Eastwood, and Elmwood, as outlined in the 2024 Syracuse Housing Strategy. Administrative launch of the project will take place in May 2025, with total completion of all work estimated for December 2029. And finally, we're seeking director's modification to a grant supporting the 2023 Winter University Games, last brought before the board in January 2025. The modification is to appropriate an additional $190,000 in funding to the Adirondack North Country Sports Council at the direction of the Executive Chamber to the existing $51,250,000 grant, making the total award to the project $51,440,000. The additional $190,000 in funding is being made from fiscal year 24-25 budget at the direction of the Executive Chamber from the New York Works Economic Development Fund, and will be used to cover ongoing working capital close-down costs for the games. And I can take any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Simone? There are no comments from the public. Hope you want to move this?
Yes.
Yeah, Hope moves it. Is there a second? Hilda? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And let the record reflect Rob and I recuse ourselves from this. All right. Thank you, Simone.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is Community Development Financial Institutions Assistance Program. Morgan Clark, our Assistant Director of Capital Access. And this is an item that Benson will be recusing himself on. Morgan?
Yes, good morning. We are asking the directors to approve the authorization to make individual grants to 21 CDFIs to provide technical assistance to small businesses throughout New York State under the Community Development Financial Institution Assistance Program. The CDFI Assistance Program is a program that provides support for the ongoing operations of New York State CDFIs in their efforts to provide capital and technical assistance to New York State small businesses. Since 1998, ESD has approved over $35 million in grants to over 50 different CDFIs statewide to improve both the quality and quantity of the services they provide to their communities. This program offers grant support to CDFIs in 3 buckets: technical assistance, institutional capacity, and administrative support. Up to $1,495,000 in grant support was made available under this round of the CDFI Assistance Program. In December 2024, through the New York Contract Reporter, ESD's website announcement, and email outreach, New York State federally certified CDFIs were invited to respond to the CDFI Assistance Program request for applications. We received 23 applications. After a review committee read and scored the applications, we recommend 21 CDFIs to participate in this round of funding. The recommended 21 CDFIs are located throughout New York State's 10 regions. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Morgan? No. And there's no comments from the public either. So I will move it. Mike seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Okay. Simone, are you back for more? Office of Strategic Workforce Development, it says call on Simone. Ah, typo. It says call on Simone. See, they tell me what to say. I don't know. I was going to say, Simone, haven't you had enough? You already had 5 or 8. But no, we have Christina Lopez, and she is our Deputy Director of Workforce Development. There's 5 items, 5 separate votes. Rob is recusing himself from item number E, or letter number E. Christina, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you, Chair, and good morning, Directors. The Directors are being requested to approve the release of funding for the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's Pay for Performance Operating Grant Program to the Research Foundation for SUNY on behalf of the University at Buffalo in the amount of $1,997,413. This grant will allow the Research Foundation for SUNY on behalf of the University at Buffalo to provide a 9-week pre-apprenticeship training created in collaboration with Buffalo Building Trades. The program will provide foundational instruction in construction through the New York State Building Trades endorsed NC3 certification and hands-on experience that will lead to direct placement in participating union and trades apprenticeships. Programming and support will be provided at no cost to low-income and justice-impacted populations. We are recommending the board authorize release of funds for the Research Foundation for SUNY on behalf of the University of Buffalo to carry out this project.
Okay, any questions for Christina? None, no comments from the public. I will move it. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Continue.
Thank you, Chair. The Directors are being requested to approve the release of funding for the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's Pay for Performance Operating Grant Program to Callahan Management Training Center, Inc., Manufacturers Association of Central New York, MACNY, in the amount of $6,546,459. This grant will allow MACNY to expand 2 of their New York State Department of Labor approved direct entry pre-apprenticeship programs, Real Life Rosies, and Advanced 2 Apprenticeship throughout New York State over the course of the next 2 years. The grant will expand programming to 7 additional regions, training 705 individuals in order to provide a pipeline into registered apprenticeships created through New York RAMP, a statewide regional alliance partner program with a focus on the New York Semiconductor Manufacturing and Research Technology Innovation Corridor, New York Smart Corridor. We are recommending the board authorize a release of funds to Callahan Management Training Center, Inc., MACNY, to carry out this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Christina? None, no questions from the public. So I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Continue.
Thank you, Chair. The Directors are being requested to approve the release of funding for the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's capital grant to Jamestown Community College in the amount of $359,500. These funds will allow Jamestown Community College the opportunity to expand their industrial maintenance technician and machining programs by increasing capacity to teach, train, and recruit students at campuses in Dunkirk, Jamestown, and Olean. The project will provide necessary portable startup equipment to train students for careers in machining, CNC operator, industrial maintenance technician, welder, and a building automation systems professional certification. Wraparound support services for this program include transportation, childcare subsidies, and job placement services. We are recommending that the board authorize the release of funds for Jamestown Community College to carry out this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? No comments from the public. So I will move it. Francine seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Please continue.
Thank you, Chair. The directors are being requested to approve the release of funding for the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's Workforce Capital Grant to St. Nick's Alliance in the amount of $1,275,000. This award will be provided for the development and relocation of St. Nick's Workforce Development Center to Throop Corners. Improvements to the facility will allow for increased capacity for training to serve 237 participants in career paths for construction laborer, youth build construction, maintenance training, HVAC, environmental remediation tech, and data analytics. Wraparound services provided through this training include stipends for participants, transportation assistance, and transformational coaching. We are recommending that the board authorize the release of funds for St. Nick's Alliance to carry out this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Christina? None. No comments from the public. So I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Last item is the item Rob's recusing himself on. Christina?
Thank you, Chair. The directors are being requested to approve the release of funding to Center State Corporation for Economic Opportunity, Center State CEO, in the amount of $282,506. Center State CEO originally applied for a pay for performance operating grant through round 1 of OSWD's grant funding program and was awarded $1 million. Based on the agency's outcomes and progress reported through OSWD agreed to provide an additional $3 million in funding for their work for additional years. Subsequent to these awards, OSWD has agreed to provide the agency with $282,506 to complete training for Pathways to Apprenticeship Cohort 8 and Pathways Plus Skills Pre-Apprenticeships. We are recommending that the board authorize the release of funds for Center State CEO to carry out this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? None. No comments from the public. So I will move it. Lorraine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. So thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Now, for the third time, we are going back. I see fingers. Kev, I just saw you raise your finger. I'm like,
Fingers crossed.
We are doing this item.
I am here. This is Patricia Bailey. Just want to make sure you all can hear me.
Patricia Bailey. Patricia Bailey. The floor
Yes,
is
okay,
the floor is yours. Yeah, the floor is yours.
Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you again for recognizing. I am requesting that the board approve the WCNY Entertainment Workforce Diversity Grant. This is from funding from the Entertainment Academy Workforce Working Cap Grant, which is funding from the Empire State Diversity Grant Job Training Fund. This program is intended as a second iteration of the WCNY Entertainment Academy, which was funded through this grant 2023-2024. This program focuses on grip, electrical, and shopcraft skills via hands-on training in the WCNY studio. The program is designed for participants aged 25 to 39 who are often marginalized in workforce development. The program has an explicit goal of reversing the cycle of generational poverty and remains prevalent in Syracuse. And as such, we are seeking for approval of the grant, a grant of up to $499,000. $499,550 to be used for 2/3 of the budget for the film training program. The number of trainees will be 20 individuals across two cohorts with a program duration of 28 weeks. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you, Patricia. Anybody have any questions? And there are no comments from the public, so I will move it. Rob seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. That motion carries. So now, we're gonna go back on page 13, New York Venture, my page 13, New York Ventures. Jennifer Teagan has an item for us. And Benson is recusing himself from this item.
Good morning, directors. We request that the directors authorize an investment commitment from the State Small Business Credit Initiative Emerging and Regional Partner Program Fund. This is a $102 million program using federal SSBCI funding to invest in venture capital fund managers who subsequently invest our capital into multiple New York State-based startups alongside their private funds. Today, we propose making an investment in Harlem Capital for up to $5 million. Harlem Capital is a New York City-based venture capital firm that invests in high-growth startups with disruptive business models solving important problems in large markets. In addition to making venture investments, Harlem works to build a diverse startup and investor communities, and they have excellent brand recognition due to its marketing efforts and decades-long work as an investor in the New York City ecosystem. Harlem Capital is led by two diverse general partners with extensive background and experience in financial industries, and this is their third fund. New York Ventures conducted due diligence on Harlem Capital and concluded that investing in this fund will help support the innovation ecosystem in New York and recommends the directors authorize this investment. And I'll take any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Jennifer on this item? Jennifer, the $102 million program, is that all for New York State or is that nationwide?
That's our, actually the total from SSBCI to New York State is a little over $500 million. The $100 million is the part that we've allocated for this particular program.
Got it. And we have a lot of money left over in this, or how much of the $102 million have we used or invested approximately?
Yeah, we've signed commitments for about a third of that at this point.
Great.
And Chairman, the money comes in 3 tranches, so the third is the first tranche of funds.
Oh, so then the first tranche is pretty much used up.
We're waiting for the second.
Waiting for the second tranche. All right, great. All right. Anybody else have any questions on this? There are no comments from the public, so I will move it, and John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. And let the record reflect Benson's recusal. All right. Thank you. Joy is coming back for more. Yes? You did such a great job on the first item. You now have another little project over in Times Square. You want to tell us about it?
Yes. Thank you again, Chair Law and directors. So we are requesting the directors to affirm the 5 Times Square Residential Conversion Project GPP amendment adopted in February 20th, 2025, which allows for the conversion of office space at 5 Times Square to residential use. The GPP amendment would allow for the adaptive reuse of the near vacant commercial office building that is located at the heart of Times Square on 7th Ave between 41st Street and 42nd Street to be transformed into a mixed-use residential rental development. The conversion will create up to approximately 1,250 new residential units, which consists of 1,050 studio units and 200 one-bedroom units, with 25% of those, which is approximately 313 units, to be made permanently affordable for households earning up to 80% of the area median income, or AMI. The site is currently owned by the City of New York, which oversees matters of compliance and enforcement of the design, use, and operating requirements, or the DUO for short, which specify the parameters for permitted site development in lieu of zoning. In working to amend the GPP and the DUO to now permit the residential conversion, ESD has partnered with the city and New York City EDC, Economic Development Corporation, extensively. In conformity with the amended DUO, the GPP amendment would impose affordability requirements consistent with the state MDL Section 26 Subdivision 3 and other applicable state laws that would permit for the override of the maximum residential floor area ratio, or FAR, of 12.0 to allow for residential FAR of up to 32.7 of the building. This override would not result in an expansion of the existing building. Rather, it would be, this override would allow for the existing office square footage and certain existing retail square footage to be converted to residential use, as the building was built to an FAR of approximately 33.35 under the GPP. The amended duo would also allow for the continuation of all or some of the currently permitted office uses and maintain the building's retail character at the street level with greater flexibility in retail programming. Following the director's adoption of the GPP amendment on February 20th, 2025, on February 21st, 2025, ESD posted a GPP amendment on the ESD project website for public review and comment. In accordance with the UDC Act, a legal notice was published in the local newspaper and a virtual hearing on the GPP amendment was held on March 27, 2025, to inform the public about the proposed project and to receive and consider public comments. Written comments on the GPP amendment were received until 5 p.m. on April 28, 2025. A summary of comments received by the close of that public comment period is provided in your director's materials. While some comments received reflected positive support for the conversion, there were a few comments that related to affordability, programming, and to the planned unit mix and unit size. We have reviewed those comments consistent with state legislation amending the MDL signed into law by Governor Hochul in 2024. 25% of the units will be permanently affordable at a weighted average median income of no more than 80%. Per the requirements of the 467M program, which was also enacted by the state in 2024, at least 5% will be required to be set aside for households earning no more than 40% of AMI, helping to ensure deeper affordability for lower income New Yorkers. These programs together create an environment where affordable housing can be realized effectively and efficiently. As to the unit mix, while having larger 2 or 3 bedroom units would encourage more families, the current building floor plates, layout, window configurations, and other mechanical building factors of the current commercial building make larger units difficult. So the City Planning Commission commented that the proposed project's high-density, transit-rich location is ideal for a residential FAR exceeding 12, and that the configuration of the site is acceptable for residential conversion, and that the proposed residential density is appropriate and in alignment with the state and city housing goals. Therefore, we are not recommending any changes to the GPP amendment that was adopted on February 20th, 2025. Pending approval, the developer is expected to acquire the site from the city and begin conversion of the existing building by the end of this year, with expected completion of the first phase and full occupancy by 2027, delivering a significant supply of housing and affordable housing to Midtown Manhattan. Prior to the disposition of the project site from the city to the developer, ESD, the city, and the developer will enter into a redevelopment agreement, and the amended duo, including the affordability requirements and the memorandum of environmental commitments, will be recorded against the site in an amendment to the existing declaration of restrictions. The redevelopment agreement, as previously approved by the directors at the February 20th, 2025 meeting, will require the proposed project to comply with MWBE requirements as well as other factors. The city will be monitoring MWBE compliance, and the developer will be allowed to contract with both city and state certified MWBEs towards their utilization. In addition, there's a theater surcharge declaration that accompanies the site that will continue to persist following the conversion. Therefore, today, we seek the director's approval to affirm the final GPP amendment reflected in Exhibit A and override local zoning regulations as set forth in the final GPP amendment to facilitate the proposed project in accordance with the amended duo. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Good. Another great, very thorough job, Joy. Thank you. So, unlike the other one, ESD is not stepping into the title of this property. It's going from the city now to the developer.
Correct.
And so then how is ESD able to do the override if we're not in some type of title?
This was part of an old, I believe, late 1970s, early 1980s GPP, 42nd Street Land Use Improvement GPP that had been amended several times before. And so we are requesting an amendment of this GPP to allow specifically for this project site, which was designated as Site 4 on the original GPP, to be converted to residential use. So we govern the GPP, and the city has governance over the design, use, and operating guidelines.
Got it.
And they own
So it's Site 4,
Correct.
but 5 times.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Now, it sounds like a neat project between this project and the other one we approved. That's over 2,000 units and certainly making a nice dent in the governor's goals to increase the supply of housing, not just in the city, but throughout the state. So it sounds like a neat project, so thank you for that. Does anybody have any other comments or questions for Joy? So in addition to all the public comments that Joy mentioned, there are no specific public comments on this resolution. So I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Joy. Okay, so and now we have Ethan Sander. We have the Chelsea Bayview Correctional Facility Redevelopment Project, another interesting project. Ethan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good morning. We are requesting the directors to authorize the various steps needed at this time to implement the proposed Bayview Correctional Facility Redevelopment Project. As a reminder, the Bayview Correctional Facility Redevelopment Project, GPP, was adopted by the ESD Board on February 20th of this year. Today, we seek our second and final approval from the Board, GPP affirmation. The RFP for this site was issued by ESD in September 2023 to solicit redevelopment plans for the site. By June 2024, ESD conditionally designated a development team comprising of 51% nonprofit ownership led by the Osborne Association and Camber Development Group. In February of 2025, ESD staff and the development team completed our environmental assessment of the project and concluded that there were no significant adverse impacts to the environment and received ESD Board adoption of our GPP. The proposed project features a dynamic plan to adaptively reuse the vacant correctional facility, formerly known as the Siemens House YMCA, built in 1932 and eligible to be listed on the state's list of historic resources. The plan includes up to 147 income-restricted units and ground floor community space in a 15-story, 150,000 square foot building. This project also highlights the successful partnership between ESD and the Office of Mental Health, featuring a 15-bed, short-term transitional housing space on the 3rd floor. The proposed project will include up to 147 units with approximately 108 studio, 21 one-bedroom, and 17 two-bedroom apartments, approximately 20,000 square feet of community facility spaces, and the adaptive reuse of culturally significant aspects of the existing structure. We have consulted with the City Planning Commission about the proposed project, zoning overrides, and design guidelines, and have received a letter of recommendation from the Commission prior to ESD Board affirmation. As explained in the GPP, ESD will convey the project site to the developer for no cash consideration. ESD is not financing the project, but financing is anticipated to be provided from both private and public sources. Following the director's adoption of the GPP, ESD held the legally required public hearing to inform the public about the proposed project and to receive and consider public comments followed by a 30-day public comment period. In total, ESD received 5 public comments on this project, all positive, including a letter of support from Community Board 4. Today, we seek the director's approval to affirm the statutory findings for the project as a land use improvement under the UDC Act, affirm the proposed general project plan, and authorize all related actions. Pending approval, the developer will begin construction within 3 months of title transfer, and the project is expected to be completed by 2028. I'll take your questions. Thanks.
Great job, Ethan. You presented this in June of last summer.
February. February of this year, yeah.
And was that your first presentation?
Yes, sir.
So now you're an old seasoned vet here. How's it going? You're enjoying it?
I guess so.
No, very good job. Anybody have any questions for Ethan? All right, we don't have any additional comments from the public on this. So I will move it. Francine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you. All right, now, Hunters Point Waterfront Development Land Use Improvement Project. And we have David Viana, our Assistant VP for Community Relations and Subsidiary Administration.
Hey, good morning. Thank you, Chairman. Hi. The directors are being asked to approve a proposed modification to the general project plan for the Hunters Point Queens West Waterfront Development Land Use Improvement Project, which is located along the East River in Long Island City, Queens. The proposed modification to the GPP will amend the definition of lot line in the GPP's development controls and design guidelines to allow for parkland to be considered a street line for the purposes of applying use and bulk regulations. The Queens West Development Corporation directors approved the proposed modification to the GPP on March 24th, 2025. Excuse me. March 24th, 2025, and made a recommendation that the ESD directors likewise approve the modifications. Happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for David? No. And David, have we met before? Have you presented before this board yet?
This is my first time.
Okay, so very good job. I can tell when, if somebody looks new. So, no, you did a very good job.
Thank you very much.
So we're going to go easy with you on questions then. No, I don't have any questions. We have no comments from the public. So I will move this. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion's approved. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we're down to the administrative actions, and we have Doug Janice, our senior counsel, who will go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 items, but only one vote. Floor is yours, Doug.
Thank you, Chairman Law. Good morning, directors. As a reminder, in order to help streamline our board meetings, we've implemented this oral summary presentation process in connection with the administrative action items of our agenda. So you received a full set of the written descriptive materials for each of these items in your board materials. But rather than having individual presentations made on each, I'm going to provide a brief summary of all the items at the conclusion. We can entertain any questions or comments you might have, and then you'll take one vote. So item 11A is a request to approve a payment pursuant to the Electric Generation Facility Cessation Mitigation Program to the Lansing Central School District in the amount of $154,763.14. The payment will offset a reduction in property tax revenues to the school district due to the closure of the Cayuga Electric Generating Facility in November of 2019. Approval of this payment will bring total disbursements from the program fund to approximately $99.9 million of the $140 million authorized for the program, leaving a program balance of approximately 29% of the authorized funding. Item 11B is a request to authorize staff to correct certain typographical errors and to update information related to 2 previous investments approved by the board to Uvo Inc. and Exogen Bio Inc. in December 2024 and March 2025, respectively. The funding source for these investments leverages both federal and non-federal funding sources. Staff wishes to clarify the information pertaining to the utilization of MWBE and SDVOB goals that apply when investments are funded by the non-federal funding sources. Please note these updates do not materially impact the essential financial terms and conditions of these previously approved investments. Item 11C is a request for authorization to enter into a contract for consulting services for the New York Biogenesis Park. The proposed contract is with Dark Horse Consulting for a one-year term for an amount not to exceed $499,760. The consultant will provide guidance in the highly specialized and rapid evolving industry of cell and gene therapy innovation in support of the project. Item 11D is a request for authorization to enter into a contract for planning, strategy, and support services for the Downtown Albany Strategy. The proposed contract is with Moore, Iacofano, Goldsman Incorporated, or MIG, for a two-year term for an amount not to exceed $799,860, inclusive of the contingency. The consultant will provide planning, strategy, and support services in at least three key modules: public realm and public safety improvements, economic development placemaking strategies, and real estate development and housing opportunities. Item 11E is a request for authorization to enter into a contract amendment for legal services. The proposed amendment is with Wilmer, Cutler, Pickering, Hale, and Dorr LLP, and will increase the term of the contract through December 31st, 2027, and also increase the contract amount by an additional $200,000. The firm will continue to provide services related to ESD's cooperation with a pending governmental investigation of a former employee. Item 11F is a request for authorization to enter into a contract amendment for legal services. The proposed amendment is with Nixon Peabody LLP and will increase the term of the contract by 2 years and also increase the contract amount by an additional $100,000. The firm will continue to serve as bond counsel for disposition of ESD-owned correctional facilities and other matters as necessary. Item 11G is a request for authorization to enter into a contract amendment for data and news services. The proposed amendment is with Bloomberg Finance LP and will increase the term of the contract by 4 years at an additional cost of $147,160. The vendor will continue to provide data and news services to permit the corporation to perform multiple financial functions, including managing its investment portfolio, generating fair value calculations, conducting project finance analysis, and monitoring financial news. Item 11H is a request for authorization to enter into a contract amendment for business resource services. The proposed amendment is with Dun & Bradstreet, Inc., and will increase the term of the contract by 1 year for an additional cost not to exceed $324,757. The vendor will continue to provide access to its market insight database and EconoView software to the corporation. Item 11I is a request for authorization to enter into a contract for software support. The proposed contract is with Cherry Road Technologies for a term of 5 years at an amount not to exceed $2,180,000. The vendor will implement, host, and support the corporation's PeopleSoft, Enterprise Performance Management, Hyperion, and Oracle Business Intelligence software. And finally, item 11J is a request for authorization to enter into a contract amendment for a software subscription. The proposed amendment is with SurveyMonkey, Inc., for a term of 3 additional years at an additional amount not to exceed $185,368.16. The software subscription is a cloud-based tool for online survey development that permits ESD to create and disseminate mass surveys. It also includes an AI tool used to monitor responses in real time to assist staff in making informed decisions quickly and efficiently. With that, I will now turn it back to our chair, who will call for any questions or comments you may have on these items before calling for a vote. We also have item-related staff on the line as well to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Does anybody have any comments for Doug on any of these items? None. We don't have any comments from the public on any of these items. So I will move it. Rob seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. That concludes our official agenda for the meeting. Does any board member have any other matter or business they would like to raise at this time? There are none. Before we adjourn, our next meeting is going to be Thursday, June 26th. And before we adjourn, I want to just say something. I want to embarrass somebody, but I love him. He's great. He's my go-to guy. I leave Hope alone. I don't bug her. But Noah Raymond, Hope's chief of staff, is getting married this weekend.
It's still on?
And you can tell he already has I can tell he has the new haircut already. Ready to go. But Mazel Tov, best of luck to you. All right. So good luck. And so we are adjourned, and we'll see you guys in June. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.